Alright, here we are on the Whitby. I'm using my new phone as a camera, and I'm just going to show you what of the work I've been doing today. I cut the engine mount plates yesterday to size, and down here in the engine room you can see them in place there, the two reddish brown looking brackets. They will do the job. I'll have to put a couple of spacers in at the front to get the height right, but they will work perfectly because my engine mount widths or lengths on the new engine are far shorter than what these bases are of the original engine. So that cures that problem. It's nothing complicated. It's just 4-inch wide angle iron. I will coat them with zinc paint for protection against rust, and that will take care of that. So I'm really pleased about that. That saves me so much work. Now back out here, I'm going to go up on deck now, outside in the sunshine. I sanded back the bit of deck, and I have filled in a second coat of fairing compound. So I should only have to sand this back one more time now, and it's ready to take the step for the mizzen mast. So that's basically done now too. Oh well, I still have to put the gel coat over the top once I've sanded this back. So that's getting very close as well. The other thing I did today, oops, some rubbish down here. It's very windy today, so I had the boom swung out over the side here, and I temporarily lifted the engine up, which is down there, and now come it back up again. But I'll show you. I pulled the engine mount brackets off. We'll get down there and I'll show it to you. Now once again, down the steps. It's a pretty cool day today, so I've got jeans and long sleeve shirt on. Alrighty. These are the full mount brackets. They look rusty at the moment, but you'll notice, but they're still solid, they're still strong. So I've got a sandblasting booth of my own, so I'm going to sandblast them and zinc coat them as well. So they will get that done maybe tomorrow or early this week. So the engine should be going back in this week, and I can cross that off my list. And so I've got that done today. I'm building a new power cable, which is up on deck. This is the other side. I've cut this to length. I've cut this up, and I'm making a new power cable. I've got new plug-ins, so I can take this power cable here out, which is way too long. I'm going to put a short one in, and I'm going to put power back into the boat. There's fairing compound on the hull here. I haven't sanded yet. I had some extra more, so I went around the hull and I found any scratches, filled them in. So when it comes to sanding the boat, right here on the bow there was a little bit, so I filled them in. No more scratches. Sand that back, it'll be smooth, and the primer will go straight over the top of this one, so I'm ready to primer it. So I'm going to be sanding this hull this week. It's going to happen. So that's going to happen this week as well. And once the sanding is done, I'll wipe it down with some acetone and put the primer on. The primer will probably take me an hour to put on. It takes an hour to dry, and then it's ready to have the top coat put on. The sanding will take half a day or a day, probably a day. So it's all coming together. So that's about it for now. I'm going to continue working here. I'll update with the second video added to this one, and I'll let you know how I go. Alright, see you later for now. Alrighty, this is the latest update for this afternoon. This is the last job I've done. What I've done is I have sanded the entire hull above the waterline, removed the name Emily T off it all. As you can see, this is all sanded back, not just down on this side, but the stern has been sanded off too. If you remember, it had the name MLET across the top with whatever underneath for the state that it came from. So, and it's all gone. And the brown is the cracks that I've filled with fairing compound. So this side of the hull has also been sanded. So the whole thing's been sanded and filled with fairing compound, which will dry. When I come back next, I will sand the fairing compound off to a smooth finish. And we will have, the next step will be to put primer on the entire hull above the waterline. So I thought you'd like to see that. Alright, that'll do it.